You're watching the Wrestling Nerd broadcast. Now here's your hosts, Tom, Nick, Ryan, and Dave. It's you, it's me, it's NRD. It's you, it's me, it's NRD. Uh-huh. Let's start the show.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is you, it is me, it is N, it is D, and welcome to episode 116, the broadcast after Mania. It's one of the most unpredictable, spectacular shows of the year for us. Mania's happened. The Raw after Mania has happened. But before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to this show, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with your friends. We got a lot of great content on this channel. But as we said, WrestleMania happened this weekend. Raw after Mania happened. NXT Stand and Deliver happened. So much great wrestling happened. But the biggest headline of everything is that we crowned a new King of the Nerds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the broadcast the new King of the Nerds, your Royal Says Highness, Mr. Tom Sasso.
Hi. Usually the king gets a crown. I got a trophy too.
Wow.
Hi guys. I gotta say, to all the people I've said hi to, which is a lot, that was for you. My predictions were for you. You deserve a king of the nerds that likes to say hi. It's a positive guy. And, it's just me. It's been, a year and so of me being on the show, never getting a chance to do much, being a second-tier character to some puppets. And here I am. I'm now the king of the nerds, and I'm king for you. And I just want to say hi. And as you could tell, before we get into it, you could tell from the Raw after Mania, I had a phone call with the Hunter Hearst Helmsleys and said, hey, Hunters, just go out there and have everyone say hi. No wrestling. Just say hi.
Well, you talk about you being this year-long journey of you going from second-tier character on the show to the top billing, the king, the Royal Says Highness. Let's talk about another build a year in the making. That is the return of Cody Rhodes to WWE, and he returned back in the Rumble, number 30 spot, wins the Rumble, challenges Reigns, and loses. Now, I've got two interesting things here. 5 men in the history of the Royal Rumble have entered at number 30 and won the whole thing. The Undertaker in 2007 is the only one of them to win at WrestleMania.
Huh.
Number 30 spot, only one guy out of 5 has won it all.
Okay.
That's pretty nuts. And that's high caliber guys. So you had Undertaker in 2007. He went on to beat Batista. 2008, John Cena came back, lost to Randy Orton and Triple H. It was a triple threat match. What was the other ones? Triple H won the Royal Rumble and won the title, but he lost at Mania. Lesnar lost last year, and now Cody this year. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would like to just start by this. So if you are new to this show, it's probably because I interacted with you on Facebook today. I had a lot of fun with this.
I have way too many notifications.
Yes, our Facebook blew up. So I really hope that this episode takes off. But so I put a post out yesterday afternoon. The day, for recording purposes, we're doing this right after Raw. And so I put out Sunday afternoon a post that said, what if? And what if became what happened. So I put down that what if, and I'm looking at this from a pure marketing standpoint, I am a Cody Rhodes fan. He is my guy. I've met him. I'm his biggest fan. I had the shirt that they were selling for Mania, came Sunday afternoon, finished the story with the American flag and Pharaoh. And I said, what if Roman Reigns wins at Mania and Cody, so Roman wins at Mania. And now he's at 945 days. He will hit day 1,000 the day after my birthday, the day of Double or Nothing out in Vegas. So he hits the 1,000 days. Then Cody will eventually go on to win Money in the Bank, which I think is June, July. I can't remember which month it is. I want to say it might be July, but I know it's out in England. So Cody can win the briefcase, and then calls his shot. He doesn't cash in like sneakily. He calls his shot and wins the title at SummerSlam. So this way, WWE gets everything. Roman hits 1,000 days, and you can print all the coffee mugs and T-shirts, hats, and gloves that you want that say "We the 1Ks." I like to think that's a great marketing slogan. It's
That's
brilliant.
good.
You get Cody wins a Money in the Bank. I also went back on that. I think what I say, 2 of the last 6 winners of the briefcase of the men's briefcase have gone on to successfully cash in. Technically, 3 of the 6 past briefcases have been cashed in because Otis won the briefcase but didn't cash it in. The Miz did, and then lost the title a week later. So yes, 2 of the 6 briefcase winners have successfully cashed in. So yes, Roman at 1,000 days. Cody gets his big win. WWE makes a lot of money because here's the thing: WWE is going to make a lot more money selling "We the 1K" shirts, mugs, and T-shirts, and Cody is the champ shirts, rather than if they just had Cody finish the story shirts for Mania. That's it. And a lot of people that responded to my post were like, "Oh, why do they have to be so greedy? It's all about the money with them."
Yeah, it's a business, dummy.
Folks, I watched CNBC News this afternoon and saw WWE talked about. You know why? Because it's a business. If you're not making money, you're not having a good business. You think, and I put this in basketball terms, LeBron James is going to lose no sleep over how bad of a day you have if the Lakers miss the playoffs. Because guess what? He made 20 mil this season on endorsements alone. So it's a business. That's it. That's what matters most.
Yeah, and they've proven after tonight that they don't care about the fans.
No.
But we'll get to that. Let's stick to Mania.
I've seen more matches in a book than I saw on Raw tonight. It's insane. Like, yeah. But to go back to the Roman Cody ending, another thing that was pointed out by somebody on the post that made me think as well. The original plan for WrestleMania 39 Goes Hollywood was Rock versus Roman. Like, that's what they wanted. That's what they booked towards. They did the same thing they were going to do either way. You just had Cody there instead of The Rock. So the plan the whole time was for Roman to win on Mania and keep going towards 1,000 days. It makes all the sense in the world. So imagine that they had The Rock for WrestleMania 39. Roman beats him, and then we just have Cody win Money in the Bank. That's how he gets his title shot. Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So, what do you?
WrestleMania Night 1.
WrestleMania Night 1 was fantastic. Phenomenal. Let me just say this.
In a while. I mean, the opening with Cena and Theory was incredible.
Predictable but enjoyable.
All I kept saying was, man, John Cena, what a good guy. Just the Make-A-Wish stuff. I really admire that.
Then Austin Theory said, F those kids.
That match went well. It was a good wrestling match. It ended the way it should have.
Yep. It did.
I didn't want Theory to win, but like it made sense. Cena looked great. Cena looked really good, actually. Yep. Theory looked phenomenal, and it's just adding credibility to that United States Championship.
Yep.
Great match.
Another great match was Seth versus Logan. Again, I hate Logan Paul with all my passion, but dude can bring it in the ring. He gets it.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to ignore like minor production issues that I had with the show, like Theory's entrance. Like they start showing him from the back of the garage door when it's opening, whereas I feel like it should have a front shot. And then Logan can't we start with him up? Like he gets pulled up and then zip lines 10 feet and then he's down.
That was kind of weird. His entrance sucked. Seth Rollins' entrance was incredible. That outfit was everything I've ever needed to see.
That was a bouquet of flowers with Jeff Jarrett's wardrobe underneath.
I mean, it was. I don't know who is like. I don't know who's behind Seth Rollins' style lately, but my God, give them a raise.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw the TikTok, but Becky Lynch didn't know what he was wearing, and she sees him in the jacket. She goes, "Oh, I'm so jealous." He's just like, "I told you it was going to be fabulous."
This is the best version of Seth Rollins we've ever had.
Yep.
Period. I don't care if you want to talk about whatever his name was on the Indies. No, this is the best version of the human being that is the character who plays Seth Rollins. This is everything. The flamboyance, I don't have to do anything. I just go like this, and you all do what you're supposed to.
Well, we saw that on Raw tonight.
It was. I love it, and from a style standpoint, this dude's closet is full. He never wears the same thing twice.
No, I would like to say his pants looked like something that like policemen wear when they're training attack dogs because they look so puffy. I'm like, Logan better not try and kick this dude in the legs. There's just nothing but padding there.
Nothing but padding.
Yeah, I like Linda when she was watching it today. She said that he is the Willy Wonka of wrestling.
Fair.
She said. That's perfect.
So fair.
It's a pretty solid response. I think they all played their parts well. KSI, I'd heard the name, but I couldn't tell you who he is.
What a curve, though. We all thought it was going to be Jake, right?
Yeah, well, I literally said in our Patreon chat, patreon.com/WNRDB.
And then everybody thought it was R-Truth when he unmasked.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was R-Truth. I was like, this is 100% going to be Jake Paul in there.
Yeah. Everyone's saying R-Truth. My only response is, don't be racist.
Yeah, seriously. Well, no, you know why? Because he just had that dumbfounded look in his eye. My bad.
For sure.
Sorry, the mask fell off.
That would probably be better.
Sure. So yeah, that was a fun match. Men's Fatal 4-Way Showcase match, far better than it was supposed to be. That was just a lot of big spot fest. So much fun though.
Every person had a moment, and they looked great.
Yep.
No one looked weak. That match was very surprisingly
more
exciting.
More of Otis than I ever need to see ever.
A little swamp butt there. But you know who's an unsung hero of that match and the triple threat match we'll get to for night 2? Titus was so great on commentary. I don't need it all the time. I like it in limited bursts like we had.
Yep.
Because with Michael Cole and Corey Graves calling the match at a serious tone and then Titus there, it felt like I was watching with my friends. And like just the way he's just yelling, call the police! Call the police!
I think they should put Titus in a commentary role for special matches. Yeah. Period. It should go forward like how AEW will bring out like JR every now and then or bring out Jericho for
how do we combat Jim Ross? Titus O'Neil.
I'm not mad. He can be there.
He'll get the names right at least.
Funny.
Well, no, he'll screw up the names like Jim Ross, calling somebody the wrong name because he called Valhalla Sarah Logan. Come on, brother, get her name right, my man.
I forgot that you changed your name.
Yeah,
I don't watch a lot of WWE, but the whole Viking Raiders presentation, I was really impressed with how they've redone them up. It's
my really only good. And the thing that kind of ruined their entrance, and we'll get to it with Finn's when we go to night 2, is the see-through stadium roof. It ruined it. Like, this is my problem with West Coast WrestleManias. You saw it at WrestleMania.
It ain't Miami time.
Yeah, no, it's gotta be on the East Coast or Central Time or in a building that the roof's completely covered. They did their best with what they could. And
I do want to say that set was incredible.
That's the best set since WrestleMania 33.
It was
a roller coaster one.
Orlando, right?
Incredible.
My only thing is, I feel like the stage itself, like where they come out, is too big because they kind of get lost on this big open floor. Sure. Like you can tighten that up a little bit. You can still have the long ramp, you can still have the massive set behind them, but they don't need that.
It doesn't need to be as wide. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see what else we have on night 1. We had
Drew and Gunther.
That was night 2. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We had Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, which was a lot of fun. Had its good spots. Dom's entrance, Rey's entrance. Those may be the 2 best entrances of Mania, I think.
By far.
They were a lot of fun. The best thing is somebody said Dom went back to prison just so he could leave prison for WrestleMania.
And also, he left prison in like clothes, and then he had a jacket on. How do you put a jacket on when you're handcuffed? How do you do it? How do you do it?
He's that good.
He's the Harry Houdini of our generation. No, that match was. I loved it. Ray's mask sucked. I'm really mad about Ray's masks this weekend.
Ray's mask was because I watched the press conference afterward. He was inspired by the Great Mood, obviously, and it was designed by Marvel.
It just looked like a helmet. I didn't like
it
that.
Did look, yeah, it looked very well. I said he looked like Turbo Man.
Yeah,
which made Seth Rollins Booster.
Because his masks are always like that's. I mean, I like watching Ray wrestle, but his masks are always a big reason why I like to see him.
Yep. We also had the SmackDown Women's Champion with Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, and arguably one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time.
People are saying get the word women's out of there. It's arguably, a lot of the critics are saying arguably one of the best matches. Period.
Very true.
It was a good match.
And then I think all we had left on night one was the undisputed tag match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Spectacular.
What's that?
Spectacular.
It was fantastic. It made you feel all the emotions. Literally all the feels during that match. And it rightfully served as the main event for night number one. Quite honestly, you could have put any match in that main event spot, and I would say probably with the exception of Theory Cena and the 6 women's tag match, every other match could have been a fun main event. But the rightful match was in the main event, Sami and KO, giving you that emotional feeling.
I had a bunch of friends over for both nights, and they were kind of different, not different groups, because a lot of the same people came, but like one night one person was there, the other night another person was there. My friend Jeremiah, who is a wrestling fan, was there both nights. And then my friends who are like becoming wrestling fans, I'm trying my hardest, and they really enjoy it. Everyone on Saturday night left my house stoked because that was a damn good night of wrestling.
Yep. Night one was great, and you were set up for a failure, I feel like, in a way, but like it was such a good night one, it's hard to top it, and they clearly did not. So we go to night two. They opened with Brock Omos. It's what we expected. It was a 5-minute match.
Better than I expected, to be honest. I did not expect much, and it was better than that.
Brock lifted, and I'll say this, what was impressive is a lot of people just anticipated like Omos for whatever reason to go to like the second rope, and that's how Brock picks him up. No, just whoop, I work on a farm, no problem.
He's strong.
He's a big, strong boy. Let's see what else we have on night two. We had the women's fatal. What's that?
Wasn't the Becky Trish Lita match night two? Or was that
that was night one. That was night one.
That was fine.
Yeah, that was a throwaway match, I feel like. We did have the women's fatal 4-way showcase match. That was just kind of lackluster. What I was most upset about was the fact that Shotzi Blackheart didn't come out in her tank. You've got that huge stage. Why no tank?
Would have made so much sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Natalya looked great. I'm not an Natalya fan. She looked great. She's
fantastic. Well. And I believe she set the record for most WrestleMania matches for a woman with 11, I think it said. So shout out to Natty.
15 years this year today in WWE.
Yep. The winners, obviously, you knew it was going to be Shane and Ronda, but clearly, I guess one of them was hurt. So it just took away from the match. Like, okay, all these others are going to win, and then you guys are just going to come in, hit an armbar, and go 9-0. It's kind of boring there. Then you had Asuka versus Bianca Belair. I know they're doing, we're going to look at things in hindsight in 10 years from now. Bianca Belair could very well be 10-0 in 7 years. At WrestleMania, they're kind of making her that Taker-esque streak. Who knows? I mean, no, I agree that it should have been Asuka the way they just hyped her in this way. But
the character change Asuka had, everything was pointing to Summer of Asuka.
Yep. I mean, I'll say this. Summer doesn't start till June. It's only April. We got time.
I shaved my beard. Winter's over. It goes winter, summer.
There you go. So we also had Hell in a Cell. We had Edge. I'm sorry, we had Brood Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor. So let me ask you this: it's Brood Edge. He came up through the stage in a pit of fire. That's all that was there from Brood Edge.
And it said Brood Edge.
It was Slayer. They were playing Slayer.
It came out that wasn't give me Gangrel's fanging and banging. That's what I want, pal.
It was.
They did
His
the
rings
best
were
with what they
dumb.
could. It did not feel like the all-out war that it should have been. I understand Finn got hurt in it. They shout out to Finn for going as hard as he did because apparently, like from what I read, they had the doctor came in, put a numbing agent on his head, which is where the gash was, and then they just stapled him right there. I'm like, good God. So
Nothing like kills the mystique of the demon, like stopping the match and giving the demon medical attention in the middle of the match. It kind of
well, you
just
know what's you
deflated
know what
the whole
you,
thing.
so you know what's even weirder? When they had NXT Takeover London, and it was Finn Balor versus Joe. It was the Demon Finn Balor versus Joe, and Joe's just like got a gusher early on, and
Yeah, I
everyone's
remember
like,
that.
"Well, this sucks." Like, here's the Demon just pacing, like they're doing these awkward close-ups of Finn. They can't stop the bleeding on Joe. I'm like, "You're not gonna." So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that was
match,
just
though, that Hell in a Cell match was not it, man. Like,
no, it wasn't. It didn't, like I
and
said, it didn't have that war mentality to
there's two things. Don't have a random platform built into the cage.
it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I loved the spot. I loved that the table was very clearly cut already.
Yeah.
It was a cool spot. That's fine. I think it was stupid the table was cut. Don't have a random welded stand in the cell. That doesn't make sense. Also, the cell's way bigger than it used to be, right? It's like crazy tall now.
It's like double the length, like double the height, I think it
Yeah.
once was.
They don't want anyone jumping off it, I guess. There's
Mick
no
Foley
reason.
would have died.
There is zero reason to me that makes sense that Edge won that match.
Mhm.
Zero. You can't convince me otherwise. Edge should not have won that match.
No, he shouldn't have.
Like,
'Cause my thing is this: where was Edge tonight on Raw? Wasn't there. No follow up. Like if you're gonna win on WrestleMania, there needs to be follow up on the Raw after Mania, and there was none.
Yeah.
None of it. It was terrible.
None of it.
You had to get Seth Rollins had to come out.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Don't you worry, pal. We'll get there.
Don't you blow your load this early, Nick.
And then of course we had Cody versus Roman. We touched on that already.
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry, we did. We missed two
Excuse
matches.
me.
You missed two big moments.
Two
We
big
missed the
moments.
match.
Let's rewind it to night one, in which Pat McAfee and George Kittle of the 49ers
Not what we're talking
fought
about.
the Miz.
No,
we'll get to it. Hold on. This is my problem. I understand George Kittle is a big wrestling fan. Nobody from the LA Rams or the Chargers was available. We couldn't get Aaron Donald out here to just shoulder tackle the Miz. We couldn't
one knows who
we couldn't get Patrick.
No one cares about football.
Like, it just makes no sense. But then on night two, the return of the prodigal son in the main event, in what Wikipedia has stated is a triple threat match. We had the Miz versus Snoop Dogg versus the best in the world, Shane McMahon. That's right. Nick I could hear Nick from over here, and he's, a coastline away.
I mean, we all know that this is the most anticipated return that everybody's been clamoring for. Since he left, since the Royal Rumble or whatever his last match was.
When he made $800,000.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that was
the Royal Rumble last year.
It was a bargain. Yeah. That was a bargain for. I feel like that was a bargain for Vince McMahon to pay his son that amount of money. But yes, I was ecstatic with the return. I thought for sure I was like, this is going to propel him back into the championship hunt. Of course, Cody's going to lose because obviously Shane McMahon is going to be the one to dethrone him. I mean, it's clearly, and then they have the leapfrog, and this devastating maneuver that they continue to allow in wrestling, the leapfrog. I mean, I've seen Rey Mysterio do a leapfrog in his match, and I had just flashback to that the quads ripping, man.
That's how Ray got in that injury commercial. Like, I've had surgery in my left knee 53 times. Like, man, maybe you should find another job.
I just think
I have two things about the Shane McMahon part. That was the biggest surprise of the weekend.
It really was.
That was the last thing I think I would have thought would have happened. And then two, the second that music hit, my friend Jeremiah is furious. I'm almost crying because I'm so happy. Not that Shane McMahon is back. I am so happy that I know that my friend Nick is watching this.
Our Patreon chat blew up, patreon.com/WNRDP. Everyone's just like, Nick, Nick. Oh my God.
Everyone's like, Tom, why are you so excited about this? Like, do you really like this guy? I'm like, I don't give a shit about Shane McMahon. I care that Nick does.
If there's anything that this week has proven, it's with JP getting the We Nominal One brawler and Shane McMahon returning that dreams do happen. And if you just keep on dreaming and keep on, I mean, it happens.
Like Cody and 99% of the WWE universe didn't get what they wanted, but 2 nerds did, folks. So there you go.
But the leapfrog, ban the leapfrog, more to come. There's a petition
great.
coming.
First the Iron Man petition, and now this. Oh, good grief.
To ban the leapfrog permanently. I mean, we might stop. I mean, I might continue. We might ban the frog splash. You know, I mean, any frogs in general are banned from wrestling.
Frog dissection in biology class, raining of frogs and the plagues.
The petition. I'm going to write my name. Founding Father, Nick.
Nick, I'll sign that. I will sign that for you.
I'm sorry, I don't have a pen. I just have a Taiji Ishimori.
Sasso. King. Excuse me.
Here, Nick, hold it up to the screen. Let me sign it.
Tom Sasso.
Hold it up. Let me sign it.
You know?
All right, got it. Perfect.
Hello. Money donation of $25 for every signature. We will buy Shane a quad. We will build him back better than before.
Listen, I only need one leg.
The quad machine. They'll call him the Quad Daddy. Here comes the quads. It's coming.
Well, you know that they got Shane to the back in Gorilla where Vince and his mustache were waiting, and he just goes, "What, pal? Couldn't turn both? I did both."
Damn it, Shane!
And I gave you a segment.
I've known you were a disappointment. You can't even keep up with me.
Look how disappointed my mustache looks.
But
honestly, I feel honestly though, like all jokes aside, I really feel awful for Shane.
Yeah,
it was like probably the worst thing that could happen. I legitimately hope that he gets like another chance to return and redeem himself at some point, because this can't be the way that Shane McMahon goes out.
No, I completely agree. We do wish Shane the best in his recovery.
Yes.
I couldn't figure out if it was real or fake, because I gotta say, also,
I just thought he tripped.
Most professionalism of the night goes to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, shout out to Snoop Dogg.
He's not even a wrestler, and
you can tell when he ran the ropes.
You know what?
Yeah,
Snoop,
sign it.
Dog, because you know that Snoop's got
the fact that like he was able to recover a really rough situation, and granted, it also speaks worlds of the Miz's professionalism.
Yeah.
But the fact that Snoop, a relative, like, yeah, he's been around, but like he doesn't know how this works. Like, can be like, oh, we just go to the finish, and he does it, and he improvs on the mic. You're gonna do that to my boy, what'd you do? You okay, buddy? And then just pops Shane, and I'm going off. I'm like, or pops Miz. I'm like, Miz just got punched by a crip. Like, that's street cred. Good for
you know what? Let's just do a people's elbow, because that's what wrestling.
Well, no, you could hear the referee go, Snoop, people's elbow, and he so instead of people's elbow, you know what, Miz, you gonna do that to my boy? Just throws her right at him. But yeah, no, that was good. Good recovery there.
Highlight of WrestleMania for me.
One of 2 good things that happened on night 2.
Yeah. And then obviously Roman Cody happened, as we discussed. We talked about the dream booking there. And I'll say this: if that does happen, if it plays out exactly how I called it, I think I'm going to win a Herald Award there. I'm just saying, Booker of the Year, I might win something.
I've got some pull on that, so just remind me.
I'm just saying.
But you're pissing me off right now, Dave. We're missing the only good match of the night.
And that is?
Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Whoops. I got so excited in the negativity. But yes, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre.
That match.
Oh, baby.
Smack. Hurt watching.
The 5 minutes in, they're just all they're a different race because they're just all red now. Good grief. And it was so good. You had the dramatics of when Sheamus hit him with the bro kick and Drew pulls him out. I'm like, oh, man.
And I'm not a Drew guy. I don't like Drew. I don't think he's worth my time watching. Mm-hmm. Push Walter to the moon. Gunther, push him to the moon. Like, make that man the longest reigning intercontinental champion in history.
Why? Because you don't like the honky tonk man?
I hate the honky tonk man. And I love Gunther because that dude hits people so hard. And they just have to accept it.
Yep. It's wild. Speaking of Drew really quick, because I just want to touch back on one of the 50 million comments we got on that post. Some guy was like, who cares about Cody? He's a bum. He was a mid-carder and quit and he left. And I'm just like, and he's like, oh, he thinks he can come back and just be a champion. I'm like, my man, I'm just curious. You a Drew McIntyre fan? Because he did the same exact thing. Drew McIntyre did the exact same thing without starting his own company. But Drew doesn't have the kind of funds that Cody has. I'm sorry.
Also, okay, we can move on to Cody. Cody coming out and hugging and holding his child.
Oh, yeah.
You knew right away. Right there. Yep, you're good. Yep. And then the whole, Brody Jr. getting the belt. And it was, I didn't know where Amanda Huber was, though. She was not front row with them.
She was there because I shared that photo.
She was there for sure, but I was surprised I didn't see her promo. Maybe it's because she works for AEW.
Yeah, maybe. Something that friend of the broadcast, Robert Ego Anthony, pointed out on Twitter is nobody's talking about this. -1 just gave Solo Sikoa the weight belt, like my dude. Yep. Just like, here, company. I'm a company guy. He gave him that belt, said, I didn't forget that dog collar match, Cody. And but no, and also cool touch about and I'm going somewhere with this. Cool touch about Cody's weight belt. On the inside, it had all the companies that Cody worked for in the time that he left, including Northeast Wrestling, who we are sponsoring Spring Slam April 15th at the Nashua Convention Center in Poughkeepsie, New York, right up the road from my house, quite literally, where I saw my very first wrestling show 30 years ago. I'm super excited. I will be there at Spring Slam. Come see me. I will tell you that Tom says hi on his behalf. On the behalf of the Royal Says Highness, I will say hi to you. So
I've given him permission and power.
I have been given a diplomatic royal service to do. So
diplomatic high.
Yes. Tickets still available. NortheastWrestling.com. Spring Slam 2023 at the Nashville Convention Center, formerly the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. It's going to be fun. Powerhouse Hobbs against Wrecking Ball Legursky. Gonna be amazing.
And back to the weight belt. Did you notice? Did you hear a company was not on there? He did not put Bar Wrestling on because he didn't want to acknowledge that as a company because of everything that went on with Joey Ryan.
Wow. So, I was trying to think of like What Culture Pro Wrestling.
No, like
interesting.
He chose to not put Bar Wrestling on, and I respect that decision.
Good for him. I tried to look at it. I couldn't tell. I mean, granted, there's just so many names, it's so small. Was AEW on there? I'd assume all AEW was on there. Okay.
From what I heard, yes. AEW, ROH, New Japan.
I got you. -1 didn't want that thing if it wasn't properly signed. So that was Mania in a nutshell. You think that's pretty wild, and then you wake up to the news that WWE has been sold to Endeavor and is now merging with UFC. So pretty much Roman is now going to be the UFC heavyweight champion come UFC 285 or whatever it is coming around the corner. But yeah, no, I don't understand. I'm not going to even try and lie and say like I know all the details of this or that. All I know is the fact that Nick Khan will still be the president of WWE. Dana White will still be the president of UFC.
They will not like.
Yeah, they're not going to you're not getting a forbidden door there. We're not getting Conor McGregor versus Roman Reigns in the octagon at Crown Jewel.
Bring the Brawl for All back.
Yes, we're bringing the Brawl for All back. But also, side note for the jokes, Triple H will remain as the CCO or whatever it is. He will remain the head of creative. Ari, I can't remember the guy's name, but the CEO of Endeavor will not have a creative influence on the show. It is still WWE's product. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm curious to read more into like why the sale and all that. I just don't care enough, and I don't know if I care that Triple H is still going to be in charge of creative because of tonight.
Yeah, I remember I watched a brief segment on CNBC News, and they were talking about the story, and they said that it was at about 10 o'clock Miami time this morning, and the stock for Endeavor had gone up about 5 points. WWE had gone down half a point, I think. So I don't know how much, but I'm also not sure in this. We'll probably have more on this next week. Is if the company is being taken private again, so then they got to buy out the stockholders. So because I think they said that Endeavor will own 51% of the stock, and WWE will own 49%, something along those lines. Again, not sure how temporary or permanent that is, but yes, WWE has been sold. And Gomez Adams, I mean, Vince McMahon and his mustache was on CNBC talking about it. And whew. But yeah, then we get to Monday Night Raw. And so I'm assuming I don't have all the access, but I like to think that I'm pretty much able to predict the future now that I predicted Roman winning at Mania. That the creative meeting for Raw went something like this. Triple H said, guys, there was a lot of negative reaction to Raw, to WrestleMania and the ending for night 2. How do we make them forget about that? And then Vince McMahon just strolls in with his cup of coffee. Oh, hey guys, you should just like have a 30-minute promo to start the show and 5 matches and just a really dumb ending. I'm very mad at watching Raw tonight because and they even mention it. Like, if they don't acknowledge that it's the Raw after Mania and that it's a fun show, like, I have no problem with it. But Raw after Mania is synonymous with an NXT call up, a return, a debut, something monumental in storyline.
Writing a storyline, starting a freaking story.
Yeah, all we got was Cody and Brock. Okay, we got Matt Riddle's return. Okay, no NXT call-ups, no debuts.
Maybe they're holding everything off till SmackDown. Maybe
no.
Is SmackDown after WrestleMania a thing?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's not as much anymore because you don't have it like on when it was Tuesday night, it was more of a thing. Now I think they'll still talk about it, but it's not in LA. The SmackDown before Mania was in LA. This one, I think they're in Oregon, maybe. I think they're in Portland. I could be wrong.
We started Raw.
The SmackDown before WrestleMania is like the big SmackDown.
Yeah.
So we started Raw off with Triple H talking about stuff.
Then now forever together.
And then introduces Roman.
Stu the cameraman.
It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yep.
And then what do we go to? We go to Omos.
Omos Elias.
He wanted to walk with Elias.
I'll say this. Oh, and just something we missed on WrestleMania. I don't remember if it was day 1 or day 2, but they brought out Bobby Lashley with his trophy.
Yeah.
You could just have him go out and beat up Elias or Ali for 2 minutes. You want to give him this trophy, but you can't like give him come on, man. Just because my question is this: if Wyatt versus Lashley was supposed to happen, what night? What match gets cut or moved?
Poor Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, seriously, like we were supposed to have Uncle Howdy versus Bray at Mania. Like, I'm just very frustrated right now. And for those of us who are new to this show, I don't want you to think that we are just constant bashers of WWE because we're equal bashers of it.
I love it. Bailey's on WWE.
Yes, I love WWE. I've been a WWE fan since I was 4 years old. But just the fact that and it's not even the Roman Cody thing that bothers me. We put a poll on our Facebook. It was just all, are you mad at, and I'll ask you guys this, are you mad at the fact that Cody lost or that Roman won? I'm curious what your takes are.
Me?
Yes, I'm genuinely, what are you more upset at? The fact that Cody lost or that Roman won? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's Cody's time to be the champion. It's not for Cody. Or like, oh, why Roman? He sucks his title debut. Like,
go ahead,
so not Cody, who? And if not,
I'm I'm not upset at all. I like the fact that Roman won. To be honest, I think that it's. I don't know. I just feel like he's been champion this long, and I don't. Cody doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest.
No, it makes sense. I completely get it.
I
I think
mean,
people
I
are
just
just
feel like the story's not. I don't. The story's too. I don't know what. Then what? Cody wins. Then what? Cody. I guess Cody
exactly.
fights Lesnar
When
with
he
for the
retired.
belt or something like.
I'm interested to see what happens where they go with this.
I mean,
With
maybe
the
they'll
with
have.
the
Maybe they
Roman.
think that they're going to get The Rock for next year's WrestleMania, so they want to push Roman another year with this thing.
No. You know what? I just had the brilliant thought. It's sitting right there. Where is Mania next year, Nick?
Philly.
Yeah. Who do we know that's from Philly or formerly Philly?
Lemonhead.
Who is the biggest member of the honor?
Ah,
We're clearly
yeah,
leading up
yeah.
to Joe Lemonhead versus Roman Reigns, day 1,365 against the Lemon Squeeze, ladies and gentlemen. So Joe Lemonhead will be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. You heard it here first.
And I want to say this. I love Lemonhead, and I love that Lemonhead loves Roman Reigns because everyone's got to have their person. To answer your question, though, Dave, I don't care that Cody lost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Roman's fun to watch. And I've said this countless times. I think it's just a minimal number of moves, a lot of waiting, a lot of like walking around and talking to himself.
Yep.
It's not, and like I know I'm a spot monkey. I love
Mm-hmm.
Spot Fest, but like I also love good wrestling, and I was more mad that Roman won, not of his own accord. He did nothing to win.
And another thing that I put in the comment section on all our posts today was people were like, "Oh, this is nobody likes him. Why would they have him be the champ?" I'm like, first of all, folks,
Doing his job.
he's a bad guy. You're not supposed to like him. And then I would bring up the whole marketing thing, like the We the 1K. People are like, nobody's buying Roman gear. And I was like, you watch Raw tonight. When he came out, you saw everybody with their ones up, and people had the gloves on and the shirts and the hats. The bloodline, as much as we hate Roman, is so cool. He's got that swag. We all beg for this. Turn and heel. We want to boo him rightfully. They finally have Roman perfect. And I don't care the fact that his matches are slow and methodical, because that's just how he's not going
There's
to
no
give you
it's not methodical. It's just he's not
it's slow but
just
he's not there to entertain you. He's there to win. That's all he cares about.
and we're here to entertain you, nerds.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we're missing anything else to really
Seth
talk
Rollins
about.
tonight came out pre-commercial, backstage interview, starts dancing, music comes on, comes out, makes it halfway down the ramp, commercial for like a while. Comes back to TV, he's still in the ring doing his thing, goes backstage, camera goes backstage to Bobby Lashley, I think, and him and Ali come out fighting to the ring, and Seth Rollins is gone.
Yep.
I've got to say it, and I don't want to say it. I've been trying my best not to curse as much, but what the actual fuck?
Hey, not wrong. This was not a great Raw after Mania. There were no NXT call ups when they had
We could
KO
have
and
started
Sammy.
recording 3 hours ago.
We could have, but now I got to stay up late and record this or edit this. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time here, we promise we're a lot more upbeat, we're a lot more positive a lot of the times, but this is a rough 48 hours for wrestling
I
fans.
loved Mania Night 1. I will be
Yes.
very clear about that. I loved Mania Night 1. I
Yep.
loved the Intercontinental match of Night 2. I love the Shane McMahon Snoop Dogg spot of Night 2.
Yep.
It was a great weekend for wrestling. I watched so much independent wrestling too.
Yep.
Yoshihiko is now my favorite wrestler, and it's just a stuffed doll.
Yep.
And I don't know, like look up from DDT Wrestling in Japan. Look up the tag team The Pheromones and just watch anything that comes up on YouTube. You're gonna see a lot of butt, and it's hysterical.
Yes. You can see a lot of butt on this broadcast if you watch enough. But
We've
ladies and
never
gentlemen,
shown butt on this broadcast, Dave.
we've seen
Hey,
your
you never
nipples.
know.
Yeah, I take my shirt off sometimes. I'm hot.
It happens. Yeah, you are. New beard. It's looking the new trim beard looks fantastic.
It's the king,
Um,
very, very.
Yeah, he's got that royal scruff now. But
Oh
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen,
Ooh.
but ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time on the broadcast, we implore you, please come back next week. We're gonna have a lot of talk about the brawlers that have been released for Pro Wrestling Tees. The We Nominal one is finally here. We're gonna talk to the man, hopefully, who made that all happen. So yes. Of course, like this video, share it with your friends. If you're not subscribed, I beg of you, please click that subscribe button. It is the best way that you can help this broadcast out for free. If you want to give us some money, great. Of course, if you join our Patreon, patreon.com/WNRDB, you can support the broadcast for as little as $1 a month. You can even go to the $5 tier and join our Facebook chat with that. Of course, you get your name in the credits at the dollar limit and the $5 tier. Both tiers is a welcome gift. You're going to get a Pog. These are not Thin Mints in this bag. Everybody remembers Pogs from when we were kids. They are amazing. They are fun. We've got slammers and Pogs. It's great. So yes, patreon.com/WNRDB. Check us out on Pro Wrestling Tees, Pro Wrestling Tees, www.prowrestlingtees.com/the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast. It's a long name. I'm sorry. We wanted it to be WNRDB on Pro Wrestling Tees, but you got to put out the whole thing. So yes, check out the broadcast PWTs. Of course, on all the platforms of social media. You probably found us on Facebook last night, facebook.com/WNRDB, Instagram, the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast, Twitter, WNRDB. Of course, follow our Commissioner Harold the Puppet over there on TikTok and all that good stuff. Tom's got a great Christmas crown. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the broadcast after Mania. We thank you for joining us. And until next time, on behalf of myself, DaveCTheVoice, the new king, His Highness, Mr. Tom Sasso, of course, the founding father, Mr. Nick Carpenter. Don't forget to tell your mother you love her every day because, like Kevin Durant said, Mom, you're the real MVP. Good night, everyone. Feel better, Shane, and God bless America.